The Pirates of the Caribbean, the ideas that made it. First, we're going to start off with the protagonist, Jack Sparrow or John Ward. Who was really the best pirate? John Ward. John Ward was a notorious pirate who robbed and destroyed many ships. He was under the service of Queen Elizabeth I herself as a privateer, a semi-legal pirate who would plunder Spanish ships. Now, he lived a full life plundering ships and living happily, but he wanted more, so he eventually betrayed the British, took a bunch of gold, and ran off with his crew. He basically sailed all the way to Spain and hid there for ages. After watching Pirates of the Caribbean, I definitely saw similarities between him and Jack Sparrow, as they both lived chaotic, but always had a very happy personality. Their personality would fill up the room, and lots of people looked up to them. Another main protagonist, Elizabeth Swann. She was based off as Anne Bonny. Here we go. Anne Bonny. Anne Bonny is probably the most famous, or infamous, female pirate to ever exist. She became famous for sailing under Calico Jack Rackham, one of the most famous, if not the most famous pirate in the world, known for his big treasure that was lost at sea. Soon after joining his crew, the duo fell in love and got married. She was an Irish pirate operating in the Caribbean, and eventually she had the exact same amount of men as Calico Jack. There are many similarities to Anne and Elizabeth because they are both tough as nails and threatening women in the pirate era. They both resemble each other very much, and this is definitely how we can recognize them. We'll now move on to some general fact versus fiction in the Caribbean. It's time to look at some simple facts versus fiction in the Caribbean. Pirates never made people walk the plank. Ever. That's a simple misconception that was adapted from Peter Pan. Eye patches did exist, but not to cover up old eye holes. They were used so pirates could see in the night by keeping one eye adjusted to daylight all the time and then swapping it out. Pirates did not usually hide treasure. That's just an idea from the novel Treasure Island, and sadly has adapted into what people think pirates did back then. In Pirates of the Caribbean, you see all these big ships. But a pirate crew Jack Sparrow size would not have a ship that big. It was actually considered ridiculous at that time. Pirates usually had smaller ships. Now we're going to be talking about some simple Hollywood glorification in the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. In Pirates of the Caribbean, you see so many pirates roaming around, drinking, dancing, covered with women. But it was actually not like that. Being a pirate meant you raped, slaughtered, and stole from many. Majority of pirates are actually worse than the evilest criminals today. Sword fights are actually not always happening. Pirates would not like to engage in battles often. They were mostly wary strategists. You see those die-hard Navy sergeants that were in the movie? Yeah, the Navy was actually pretty corrupt back then. They would team up with pirates so they could get gold as well. They were basically just pirates with rights.